All right, welcome. Gates Adams here on behalf of Apex Trader Funding. And for the second time, I'm having a conversation with Tim. Tim has now had a couple of payouts just in the last couple of months. And one of the exciting things about the opportunity of being a funded trader really has to do with the ability to create whatever type of business you want as a trader. And the biggest thing that when it comes to creating a business out of trading is consistency. So I think that's kind of where we want to focus our attention today. Welcome, Tim, and congratulations on another payout. That's super exciting. Thank you for spending some time with me today.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back, Mr. Adams. It's great to be here.
I appreciate it, and I know that you're traveling, and I know that where you are, it is the middle of the night. So a special thank you for jumping out of the normal schedule and being here with me. So I do definitely appreciate that. So let's talk about we did an interview with you last month about your payout, and I can't remember if we'd actually gone back. Had you had some additional payouts prior to that one, or was last month your first payout?
Yes, I did. This is actually my third
Okay.
payout now. So
Now, is this the third in 3 months in a row, or did you have any space in between?
uh, the first one I had several months in between before I got to my second one because I started a 50K and it took me a little longer to get to my target. And the last two have been back to back.
Great. Now, did you notice a difference moving from your first to your second, then moving from your second to your third payout as you've gotten more comfortable with the
Yes.
process? How does that change for you?
Yes, my trading has got better, and it looks like I can see the market moves better, and I've got better used to the platform than Ninja Trader, and that's really important too. Because this week I tried some new stuff and some new programming, and it caused me some problems during the market, and really the whole thing with the market and being consistent is to do the same thing every day. You get up and do your same routine. You trade the same time window. You trade the same instrument. As we talked earlier, we both like the 9:30 to 11:30
Right.
time frame because it's good market movement. It's a lot of back and forth, and especially like in the S&P, it's really great time to trade. Since I'm in Thailand right now, I get stuck trading a lot of the in the evening here. I trade, which is the 13-hour time difference from you.
Right.
And so I'm trading at 4 in the evening, and it's 4 in the morning there. And so the market just moves different.
The
And
dynamic is definitely a little different. And
yeah. So it's made me struggle a little bit more since I've been here, and plus getting used to the sleeping at night. And then we really busy during the day.
Sure.
And so it's just out playing. And so then when nighttime, when you're trying to trade, I like I said, I like to do the 9:30 to like 11:30.
Right.
And so it starts getting late in the night for me.
Sure. And you know what? I've got to applaud you on the commitment. A lot of people would just say, you know what? I'm overseas. My time frames are different. I'm not in my normal routine, which I can tell you when I travel is something that I always struggle with. So I applaud your consistency, even though you're in a different environment and it's causing you to trade at timetables that are not necessarily your norm. Now,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I love trading, and I would do whatever it takes to trade. But it's funny because some of the people here, my sister's wife is here, and her husband, and they both watch me trade, and they see, it's looks. I know it looks easier than it actually is, but I mean, they watch some of my really good trades, and they want to trade, but Thailand right now is not on the list,
Right.
to trade. I realize that Apex, they have trouble keeping people that can be, and the support staff that can speak all the different languages, but I would really like to see Thailand on the list, and because they're missing a really good opportunity to trade, and the rest of the world, I mean, they have just a tremendous opportunity. If you enjoy trading, it's just a tremendous opportunity at Apex to make really good money.
That's awesome.
And
That's awesome.
I just love Apex. I mean, this last sale that you guys did, 80% off, 80% off recurring. I mean, you just think in heaven there. You know, I've got 3 more contracts now, and
Right.
three more accounts. And I even picked up a 150. I'm gonna tear that 150 up this time. This next year is my year.
There you
And
go.
I've got some buddies that I've met. Now I hadn't really met them, but I met them online. And one of them you've interviewed, Kenny Garcia,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
me and him are buddies. And I had never met him, but we talk. And he's got one payout, and he's got 2 funded accounts now, and he's growing. He just got 4 25K accounts, and I like to see people that are progressing. You know, he's learning and he's doing, and me and him are, you know, we're struggling, but we're making it. You know,
Right.
and I mean, the whole trading thing is not easy, but it's doable. You know, and the more you learn, I mean, like I say, you got to start slow, and you got to learn, and you got to progress. But I
Absolutely.
see some of those people getting a payout of 100 grand a month there. You know, I mean, it's just amazing. You know, I want to be there.
Right. But who starts there?
Nobody starts there.
Nobody.
And I and what gets me is I see some of these people that sell classes, and I watch them, and I'll see them they'll have 2 or 300K accounts. You know, that takes some doing.
Sure.
But then the next time I look at them, the couple of those 300Ks are missing. You know, so everybody struggles. I mean, it's a process.
Absolutely.
And like, to me, my biggest hang up is when I come in during the day. Well, like today, I got here in the evening. I said, well, I'm just going to take a real quick trade just so my new accounts will have a trade for the day. And so I didn't have a trade copier, so I went through 4 accounts placing the order,
Oh,
and
nice.
that is really difficult, right? And so right as I took my trade, the market took, you know, the nighttime market's crazy. The market took just a tremendous jump up, and I'm like, I don't want to get stopped out on this thing when I was just going to do a 1-minute trade, you know,
Right.
and be done. And then I'm just hung in the market, and I'm like, I don't want to add, I don't want to do it. I'm just trying to get out. And luckily, you know, I eventually got some selling, but this time of year, you know, the market's so thin, and they can push it one direction pretty far.
Right.
And what I'm trying to say is, if you don't really want to be in the market, you don't have a setup and everything, you know, don't take the trade. Don't push
Right.
the button because you'll wish you hadn't a lot of times.
So that brings up a good point. There are different times of year. There's of course news. There's different times of day, and all of these factors will change the dynamics of how a trade execution will look for you, especially in light of the fact that right now you're in a different environment. You're not at your home office. You're not trading on your in your normal arena. In fact, I remember last time we spoke, you talked about part of your routine is you would get up, you would start trading, then you would take a walk. I believe you said with your dad, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's correct.
And so you know, we have all of these routines that really help take away part of our daily decision process. So you don't have to think about what time you're getting on, what time you're getting off. I mean, everything is just that kind of that rote routine. So when you get out of your routine and when you're in a different environment, but you're committed to staying consistent and continuing to trade, even in a different environment, even a different time of day, even a different time of year, as we know, you know, here as we get close to, you know, close to the end of the year and the holidays, the markets move a little bit differently. How do you handle that in terms of how you get your mindset in the right place so that you don't let the lack of routine negatively affect your results?
It's really, like I said, it's a lot more difficult because I really like to have my morning coffee while I'm trading.
Right.
Okay, if I'm having my nighttime coffee while I'm trading, I'll have more trouble sleeping than I'm trying to do now.
That definitely
But
changes the next morning.
yeah, so like you said, that is different. You really trade better with the routine, and the best way I handle it is I really size down. You know,
Sure.
I'm not trying for those bigger targets. I'm trying for a profitable green day. You
Right.
know, uh, and I'm not trying to hit any home runs. like these accounts are so cheap right now, especially if you got a, even if you got a PA and you're paying those data fees like the $92 or whatever, you're paying that fee. If you've made $92 that day, okay, you've paid your fees for that month, even if you didn't get out. I mean, you're sitting there holding that payment in your account, so you're really in good shape. And man, I can't believe they just did that thing where you can get an account with no PA fees, no data fees,
baby.
no platform fees. I'm like, wow. I mean, even in my fantasy, I wouldn't have dreamed that they would have did that.
Right. Now, to be clear, it's not no fees. You just now have the option of doing the lifetime fee versus the monthly fee. So once you're in, as long as that account is alive.
To me, on a 25K, $130 is no fees.
Well, I'm with you.
Okay, I mean,
you keep that longer than a month and a half and you're good to go.
Okay, the one I got now, I've had since February. Okay,
Wow.
so I mean that opportunity to have these accounts, especially like if you get a 150K account and you get it to PA and you pay that small one-time fee. Okay, I mean you're golden because
that's it.
You've got data for free. I mean nobody does that, and you've got Ninja Trader for free. Everybody else makes you buy it, right? And now, I mean that's a couple grand.
Let's take a quick step back, and I'm pretty sure we addressed this in the first interview, but I can't remember your answer. How long have you been trading? Let's forget about Apex Trader Funding and just Tim, how long have you been trading?
Last time I told you 40 years, but I need to clarify that. Mine wasn't trading back then. Do I?
You started when you were 2, right?
Though I told you I was probably more like 50 years.
Oh, wow.
But I started with my dad and when I was just real young, and we started trading penny stocks and small caps and I just fell in love with it then. But I've traded just about everything. I've traded most of the futures, and but I had some wild swings, and I would hold stuff overnight, and luckily most of it I didn't take big swings until I'd made money. So I really didn't lose anything I didn't have. But most of my trading turned out to be invested. And I would buy something, and if I got stuck in it, I would just hold it. I didn't know any better. I would hold it and it'd go down, and I'd hold this dog for 2-3 months, and then a lot of times it would pop up and I'd get out. But
that's not, as my dad used to say.
Yeah, but I mean, we had some good markets, so just about everything I had did well, because the market went straight up.
Sure.
But we probably not going to have those type markets now, and I really don't like that. I really like what I'm learning now is trading. Trading is especially this day trading we do, you're out. At the end of the day, you can sleep because whatever happened is done. I mean, you're not betting the house while you're asleep.
Right, exactly. I think we had a conversation last time about the thoughts running in your head if the trade is open and you're trying to get some rest. It just doesn't work, does it?
Oh yeah, that's just no good. And really, if you're trading like you ought to, my big thing now is if you just go click the mouse, okay, you're in an uncontrolled trade because you don't know where your stop is, you don't know where your target is. You in what I call an uncontrolled trade. If you wait for your A setup, then you take the trade, and when you're wrong. I can tell you exactly when my A setup is wrong. I know when I'm wrong, and fortunately, it don't happen a lot. But when you're wrong, you need to be out. And Kenny really gets me because now he'll say, like the other day, I was really struggling in the market when one of those just zigzag moves. And I talked to him, and I had a profitable day, and it was quite profitable, but I sweated. I took a couple trades I shouldn't have. But anyway, I asked him, and he said, I didn't take any trades. I said, what? You went all day and you didn't take any trades? He said, well, I didn't have no setups. And I'm like, that's amazing. That's where I want to get,
The discipline.
Yeah. I want to sit there and be able to sit there on my hands and go, hey, I don't have a setup and I'm not in the market.
One of the things that I remember as I was really kind of learning the strategies that I'm getting back into using now is a lot of times it's not so much about the strategy It's about the filters that tell you, okay, it may look like an entry, but if this filter, or this filter show up, stay out. And that is something that I know a lot of traders struggle with. So that mindset and that discipline to say, if it doesn't show up, it doesn't show up. I don't have to take a trade today because I'd rather not take a trade than take a loser.
Yeah, that's me. What I've noticed now is like if I've got a support level and the market's above me and it's coming down into my buy area, then if it's coming down at too sharp of a slope, like I mean, if it's coming down, then I've got now where I say, hey, I'm gonna wait. And used to I would say, hey, well, you just hit my support level and I'm buying. And I'm like, sometimes it just goes right through it. And so now I hesitate a little bit and I'm like, let's see if it holds.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. We have to define those filters that make the most sense. And sometimes it has to do with market conditions. Sometimes it just has to do with what's in our head. Sometimes we have to
Yeah,
filter ourselves. It's what
that's
I'm
right. I've been trading with the same system for probably 3 or 4 years,
right.
but I've adjusted, like I said, the fine tuning filters.
Right.
So it keeps me out of the trades as iffy.
Sure. And that's that discipline. That's that mindset that has to happen. So let's say you're and again, I like to do the little hypotheticals. You're talking to somebody who's just, coming up. They're finding their way, they're developing their, trading personality, if you will. When it comes to that consistency, because we had a payout, we had a couple of months in between, then we had another payout, and then now we've had a third payout back to back. And as I understand it, did you already passed the evaluation on the 150?
No,
Not
I
yet.
just started. I just started today, actually.
Oh, did you?
I
Okay,
thought
great.
I thought the sale was over, and I saw
Oh,
my buddy Kenny said, "Hey, I'm gonna buy me one now." And I'm like, "It's over." And he goes, "No, we got a half hour." And I looked, there's 13-hour time difference. I said, "Hey, I'm still in." So I picked
right.
up the 150, and I made just a small trade today, and
Sure.
pretty green on it, but I still got a ways.
Well, in terms of developing that level of consistency, and I'm talking about the level of consistency that exceeds being in routine and takes you to the point where not only can you be consistent when you're in your home environment, it's your home time frame and all of the things that just look nice and perfect. What is it that somebody needs to develop and learn so that they can be consistent, so that they can continue to trade, continue to be active, continue to be proactive, even when they're traveling, even when they're overseas, even when the time frames are completely off and different? What advice would you give somebody in terms of staying consistent in all of those environments?
I think the main thing is to look at you as part of the system.
Mhm.
And if you're not in the right mindset, like, okay, if you're really tired and you're really sleepy or you're really mad or you got some kind of problem, don't trade because the market will test you. And it's gonna see if you go let your stop get hit. It's gonna see if you go place your trade to right. It's gonna see if you revenge trade. And I told you I had another problem. I guess it's because I was tired this time too. But I had another problem with that where I'm up 100, 150, $200. Okay. This one I was up like $270. And I didn't quit trading that account. And they start taking it back from me. And so then I revenge trade trying to get my money back up, and then I lose more, because I up my size trying to get what I had back. And that's a terrible plan.
Can I make an
Um,
observation?
yeah, and you really have to learn what your problem is. Everybody has their own little thing that they do, and I know that's mine. And so really, if something happens that's weird, let's say your internet has a problem and it goes down right in the middle of your trade. Okay. And you freak out and you're having all these problems and you get out, and let's say you get out even. Okay. Shut the thing off. Okay. You've already distracted yourself. You've already got problem. Shut it off. And what I found out, if I'm in a terrible trade and I get lucky and I come out without getting stopped out, and I come out, the best thing for me to do is close it down.
Sure.
Because I have used up a lot of energy watching that thing go back and forth against me.
So And I like to make this, this point a lot, and I did a lot of the stuff that I do in regards to talking about trading is really the the success in trading doesn't come from having the right system. Yes, you have to have a system that's functional, but virtually any system that you can learn can be profitable,
That's
but it's
true.
also not going to be profitable for some traders. So what's the difference
Yeah.
between trader A and trader B with the same system? So what's going on in here? Would you
I
agree
tell
with
you,
that?
I've got guys, I've taught my system, and I taught one guy my system, and he was making somewhere around 10 times more than I was a
Mhm.
month. And I told the wife, I said, man, he is rolling. And he did it for about 2 months. Then one day he abruptly changed and started just doing his own thing, and he's probably lost just about every day since. But what gets me is you've got to trade your personality.
Sure.
If I showed what I did to 10 people, maybe one of them would be profitable, because it's not their system. They hadn't back tested. They're not sure of it. They don't, when it comes down to that buy, you got to click the mouse, they'll hesitate, or they won't take the trade. Or when it's time to get out of the trade, they won't get out. They won't
Right.
they won't take the profit. I got another buddy, and every morning just about he'll be up $200 or $300 in the first half hour. Okay,
Mhm.
if I'm up good in the first half hour, that account's done. I go to another account or I shut down,
Sure.
and I keep that money, and that's the way I do now. If I got one account that's up pretty good, I keep it, and that's the trick to being consistent. Is when I tell my buddies, is when the cash register gets money in it, close the register up, close up shop. You're done. And if you don't, by the end of the day, you're gonna give that money back.
I
You
will
get tired.
refrain from singing some Kenny Rogers, but I 100% agree with you. You have to have that I think that you've got to have that stopping point, whether it's I made this much or I dropped this much, whatever those limits are for you, you've got to honor those limits.
Yeah, I agree. You're not gonna be consistent if you don't take your profits.
Right.
You've got to take the money and shut it down. Uh, one, I don't want to say it, but one of your competitors had a thing which I really like, and I like Apex's chart they have too, but their chart is on a different time scale. It's
Mhm.
like a 50K is on a 50K scale.
Right.
Uh, uh, Somebody else had one where it starts like if you got a 25K account, it starts at 25K,
Mhm.
and then it's got your target up there at 1,500, and your limit down there at 1,500 below you. And so every day you can log on and look at your chart. And me and my buddies would send the charts back and forth, right? And so every day when I'm up $100, $200, I think, well, my chart is looking good, so I shut it down because
Right.
I want to see that chart looking good, And it wasn't even about the money; it was about what does my chart look like, and that helped me a lot.
You got to find what drives you, and if it's the competition, then get somebody and get into some friendly competition. Obviously, in terms of
Yeah,
sharing results and working with each other, I think that's a great for accountability and just great for self motivation and keeping things moving in the right direction.
yeah, but I would have that chart in the back of my mind. Okay, what's my graph look like? Am I going up at the right angle? Am I looking like a pretty graph? Uh, So I would say, well, I got what I need for the day, and I'll
Mhm.
close it down. But like we talked earlier, uh, I like that 9:30 to about 11:30 time frame.
Right.
Okay. Typically I'm up good in that time frame. A lot of times in the first hour I'm up good because
Mhm.
you get really good movement.
Mhm.
And once I'm up good, that account's done, or I'm done for the day. But but really what I was doing, I had a 25 and a 50, and I would swap between the two. I would trade a 25, and I said, I get a couple $100 in it. I'll go to the 50, and I'll
Mhm.
get a couple $100 in it. Okay, my day's done.
Right.
But I didn't have both the accounts in the market at the same time.
Then you of course got to balance whether you're looking at two different accounts using this trade copy or whatever the circumstances make sense for you, and of
Yeah,
course that's going to be personal to everybody.
yeah,
So
and what I didn't like having the risk of two accounts in together.
right.
You know,
Absolutely, absolutely, and I know
makes
that's why a
me
lot of people like to do multiple accounts and really take advantage of those little flash sales where you get the big discounts on the
oh
accounts.
man,
For me, I don't want to wait until I get a discount before I step in, because if it costs me an extra $50 to get started, well, I want to start trading sooner, because that means I'm going to be in the money sooner. But when it comes to adding on a few extra accounts, boy, I love when those come into play, because I see a lot of people say, you know what, I'm going to take it to the next step. I've got 2 accounts now, I'm going to add 5 more. Now, what does that do? That gives people a little bit of a buffer. If you blow an account, you don't have to wait to pass again before you start trading in the money. And so I love seeing the flexibility to have up to 20 accounts. Now, for most people, that's hugely excessive, but it just gives people that open door and that flexibility to trade in a way that works for them, and really build the structure that they want and that they need, through utilizing tools like Apex Trader Funding. And I think that that's a huge opportunity that people sometimes forget. Hey, I can get a $300,000 account and I can trade more contracts. Well, it's not always about that. A lot of times it's about account management, making sure that if one's not active, you've got another one that is, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. You've always got an account to trade.
Sure.
And that's really important, because let's say that you've passed one and you're $500 more than target, you got a couple days left, and you don't want to risk losing that money that you just made, that you're going to take a payout on. You can just swap and trade the other account. That's what I did. I said last week, I'm like, I got what I need. I just swap and trade something else.
There you go.
Let that one just sit there and wait.
There you go.
But now,
Tim, we're about to hit that limit of the recording here, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. And just once again, I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for the commitment to actually be on here, and what is currently your middle of the night to spend a little time with us. That means a lot to me. I know that means a lot to the guys at Apex Trader Funding as well. And we really appreciate your continued effort, your continued positivity, your continued guidance and leadership that we get to now present to other traders as they're coming through the process as well. Because for every one of us, it's a learning process until that's the last day. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm glad to be here. But I just want to see the other traders really making a lot of money and meeting all their goals, because everybody's got different goals, but different monetary goals. But I would like to see all of them making money, progressing, and learning the skills of trading. But Apex is just a tremendous opportunity. I mean, you guys rock.
Well, thank you for that, and keep at it, because we want to continue to do more and more of these as you continue to grow and develop as a funded trader with Apex. We want to hear how that experience continues to help you develop and really flourish your professional in the sense of earning money trading career. So keep at it, and keep giving us opportunities to bring you in and have more conversations to share as you continue down that journey as well.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Tim. You have a great afternoon, great evening for you.
I'm going to bed. Good night.
Good night.